in the last couple months to get them signed, sealed, and delivered today is great. I think they fill needs for us. I think they're certainly great fits for what this place is, and you know, I feel they can be kind of impact freshmen, like the current freshman class is. So thrilled to know we got them signed, and then you kind of move on, and we continue to recruit seniors. Obviously, we're still recruiting. That never ends.
How odd was this class where you get a main guy really early,
yeah,
and then the other two you didn't really have extended relationships with?
Yeah, it kind of tells you every time I tell people we try and make recruiting this exact science, and it's so far from it. You know, TJ was a guy we worked long and hard on, and it paid off in the spring. You know, we didn't really know who Johnny Mooney was until about August 15th when Billy Donovan called me and said his dad was really reaching out to us. And what we do, recruit him for 3 weeks, and we got him. Reminds me a little of the Torrey Jackson recruiting. You know, you recruit him for 3 weeks, he called you in August, and you got him. And Nick is another great story. We're up there watching another prospect, and you end up, you know, not knowing what you're walking into at Orangeville, and you're walking into a lot of prospects, and you're just really impressed with Nick and his flexibility that he can play any of those positions. So a great example of, you know, you can recruit a guy for 2 years, get him, and he turns out to be not too good a player. You can recruit a guy for 2 years, get him, and he's a really good player. And you recruit a guy for 3 weeks, get him, and he becomes maybe better than all of the above. It's again, back to it sure ain't an exact science, and you're living day to day in recruiting.
How fast did the light bulb go on with you with Jogo? When you go up and sit down, like, whoa, who's this kid?
Yeah, we watched him, you know, for 2 hours there, Anthony Solomon and I, and I'm, you know, he's just kind of growing on you. And I went over and talked to him afterwards, and he was going to visit Northeastern that weekend. And what really struck me was, you know, I knew that Penn wanted to get him, but the financial package wasn't going to be good enough for him, so he wasn't going to go to Penn. So I knew he was a great student. And so after being impressed with how he played for 2 hours, I said, what are you interested in studying? He said, business. And I said, well, you know, the Mendoza Business School is #1. And he kind of cut me off. He said, I know, Coach, I've done my research. I know you guys have the best business school. And, you know, so I landed in Philadelphia the next day en route to watch a junior, and my message to him was, don't do anything crazy this weekend. I said, I'm going to stop messing around, and called the coach, and we offered him that next day, and fortunately we were able to get him. But he's, you know, he's old. God, he's old. He's a man involved with Canada basketball. You know, he could play any of the positions. He guards. He's athletic. Little Vastoria-like, you know, feel for the game, skilled, got some toughness about him. You know, just gives you a lot of flexibility with what he brings.
Was there ever any hesitation with John Mooney, considering how that recruitment came about? It's not like you guys were out evaluating him like you did Nicola or the other guys.
Well, my guys remembered him a little bit, you know, because after Billy called me, I didn't remember the name. When Billy called me and said, do you know Johnny Mooney, I thought he was trying to endorse a coach for me or something. And you know, he was off the board in 10th grade. You know, an Irish Catholic guy, if he would have stayed on the board, we probably would have known about him, but he disappeared quickly. But, you know, I talked to Coach Inglesby after I talked to Billy, and he said, you know, they really liked him when they saw him when he was young. Now, he was off the circuit because Team Florida didn't have a team. So not only was he committed, but he didn't play in the summer. And he was fine with it. He went up to Florida and worked out with their guys. And at the end of the summer, everything changed to our benefit. But, you know, as he was described, and I saw some videotape of him, you know, I kept seeing Kerrs. There's a lot of Rob Kerrs in him. I mean, even facially, dark hair, the same body type, similar game. And so, you know, it's I think in this profession, you know, I've tried to not overanalyze too much. Nick is a good example, Johnny Moon. I mean, if you got a guy like sees it, jump on it, you know, you sit there and twiddle your thumbs and think about it and analyze it, and you lose momentum or an opportunity.
In the spring, you talked, I think, right before Selection Sunday, about some of the guys in the past, Connaughton, Herringody, Hansborough, who'd like to recruit with the chip on their shoulder. Do you feel this class has that feel?
Yeah, I think they do a little bit. You know, none of them will be McDonald's All-Americans. You know, what is TJ's up there somewhere, 50s, 70s, 80s. I think Johnny Mooney would be, you know, in the 50s to 70s if people had seen him on the circuit. But that's great that he's not, because then he has a little chip on his shoulder. And Nick's a real mystery man because he's playing above, you know, north of the border. So yeah, I think these guys all a little bit of a chip. I mean, they're really good high school players. None of them are going to play in the elite all-star games. They're going to play in some good ones. We'll get some guys in the Derby Classic. And I think when they play against those top 25 guys, those guys that you've mentioned in our program have always been very motivated to play against the guys that were rated higher. Boy, high school rankings that's a shot in the dark, man. You know, just you know, I think that's what that is. But anyways, if I can use it as a chip on their shoulder, I'm gonna use it every day.
Coach, you benefited in the past from bringing in a point guard as a freshman that can play and help the team, and having the senior or junior veteran point guard kind of guide him. How important is the timing with Jackson as a senior next year?
Yeah, it's really, really important, and I think that's one of the things TJ saw was there's an opportunity that Demetrius Jackson, you know, would not be with us, and it opens up a great opportunity for him as a freshman. I think the one thing that's been encouraging with our current team is how Matt Farrell is playing, and so that if you had the two of them next year to handle that position, if Demetrius goes, I'm looking in right now with the way Matt Farrell is trending and what I think we have in TJ, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling, I know we could lose one heck of a player in Demetrius, but man, I feel pretty good about manning that spot with those two guys.
What is Farrell showing you now that maybe he didn't last year?
He's been much better with the ball, Tim. His assist to turnover is much better. I thought, you know, he just turned the ball over too much to be the quarterback and the point guard last year. Now, in fairness to him, he was playing against Demetrius Jackson's ball pressure every day. So, you know, I've always remembered that in the evaluation. But I think he's made great progress there. He's become more of a lead guard, talking, setting things up, not just playing the game, like getting guys in position, calling sets. And then, you know, the other thing is he doesn't miss many open shots. I mean, he is a shot maker when it's a good shot. I like him playing with Demetrius. I like coming in, and it gives us it gives Demetrius a little bit of that blow off the ball that he got with Jaron handling. He slides off the ball a little bit. He comes off some screens on the baseline, and he's not grinding with it in his hands all the time. So it's helped our spacing. It puts a scorer on the floor because he can score, and it helps Jackson, I think.
Mike, what's your approach going forward with a couple seniors you're still recruiting?
Yeah, full speed ahead. You know, we've got some big guys we're on, and, you know, we would want to sign one more guy. That's the goal, and could that be early? Maybe. Could it be late? Yeah, it could be late too, but you know, I think we'll keep evaluating seniors, and then even really since we've had the 3 commitments, you know, I've concentrated on the junior class too, so you're into the next phase of juniors. But yeah, we're full speed ahead on some big guys that are still out there in the 16 class.
And how much impact did you see from last year's run and playing Kentucky close in the Elite Eight on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, I think it's helped us. You know, there's no question it's helped us. You know, we're still going to kind of get the guys we get here. You know, I don't know if we're going to totally reinvent the wheel and 3 one-and-dones are going to show up in a year. It's just not going to happen here, and I don't think it'd be right for us. You know, in our mission, it's not right, and it ain't going to happen. So I don't have to worry about it. But I think we've trended up a little bit. You know, we're style of play. You know, the offensive style of play has been, you know, it's always been there. I think it was really showcased more at a higher level. So that's gotten, you know, more attractive.
Is a one and done or two and done something you might have been open to 3, 5, 10 years ago, or has that changed?
Well, I've always been open to a one and done. Always. I mean, Greg Oden, we played around with. He was a one and done. The ones that we've investigated up until currently, a couple guys we're still recruiting that aren't 4-year guys. we kind of, it just went its separate ways where it wasn't going to fit. So every year I have an open mind to that, and we must have an open mind to that. But for the most part, we're going to keep getting those guys that kind of he mentioned that are little chip on the shoulder, come in, get better over time, grow them in our system, get them older. That's been the rhythm of the program.
Now that you've been through the recruiting cycle in the ACC a couple times, do you feel like facilities, maybe how you expected it to be with recruits compared to other programs, has that changed at all?
Well, in the ACC, everybody has all the ammunition. As I've said, we're not playing against some poor little Catholic schools that in the Big East, some of the Catholic schools didn't have much. And I think that's why it's important for us with this practice facility, and we are in a very aggressive fundraising mode right now for that. And that is needed because the league we are in has all the ammunition. And if you've looked around at how this league is recruiting, it's recruiting at a high level too. So to keep pace, we got to keep investing and grinding and doing that.
You gave us a comparison with the other two guys. Gibbs,
Gibbs is Torrey Jackson-like. Probably shoots it a little better at this age, but has got good strength, a nose for the ball. I love his toughness. When you're the youngest of those three brothers and you have to play one-on-one in the gym and, fight for everything and get pushed around, the kid has a real toughness about him, that I-95 edge that I like to refer to. Shoots it, feel for the game, great hand, defensive hands like Torrey, can get in there and strip. And again, when you play where he played growing up, AAU and high school wise, man, you played a high level of competition, and I think you're really ready.
Do you think those comparisons to his brother are fair?
He's more of a point guard than the other two. The other two were really kind of more, I thought they were more scoring guards, or combo guards, two guards. Sterling certainly now at Connecticut, Ashton, who we had great battles with. Those guys were a little bit more off the ball. TJ is more a guy with the ball first. Now, he could play off the ball like Matt Farrell and him could be playing together, just like Jackson and Matt Farrell could be playing together this year.
Considering the possibility of Demetrius leaving after this season, how much more important was it to get a point guard in this class versus leaving it to the 2017 class?
Oh, no, we really had to get a guy. There's no question. And that's why we focused so much on guards, and then it got to be TJ, and we got him in and really tried to capitalize, and we were fortunate enough to close it out. I don't think I didn't pay attention to much else in the 16 class in the spring because it was like we got to get guards, and then it became we got to get TJ Gibbs. And fortunately, we got him in that late April weekend. I think it was late April, early May, right before exams started. And that was a good time to get him in. He was ready to make a decision, and it gave some. I was relieved that okay, we got a point guard there. And that was before Matt Farrell started doing what he was doing for us. So, it was even better peace of mind. Now, I feel like we have some depth there with those two guys.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you oversigned in your time at Notre Dame. What's your thought process with that, like as far as juggling things and balancing that Demetrius does say?
Yeah, I think we've always gone into this one with let's try and get four guys and work it out on the back end, and we certainly know where Demetrius's stock is. Now, if it plays out that way, Troy Murphy's business decision was a great business decision. It may just have to be a great business decision, and no one would be more supportive than me and us of Demetrius. So, I didn't want to be too conservative. I wanted to be aggressive with this. And so that's kind of how we've gone into it with let's get four if we can get four.
You've said recruiting's not an exact science, but I think this is at least the last 3 years now where you've made sure to get your number one guy on the board.
Yeah.
What does that do for you as a program where you get your number one guy and everything else kind of falls into place?
Yeah, it really has helped us. There's no question that we've been able to get a guy. I always tell that first guy, boy, you shape our class. You know, if you can be the guy to put your stick in the ground first, it shapes our class. And I feel good that I think we've concentrated on the right guy to close on, you know, and get. And then you're filling in around him. So I think we've made the right decisions. I think we've been realistic who we can get. And I think we've been good about being aggressive when it was time to get a decision, you know, finding out when is it time to get a decision. You know, as of course, Burns and Ryan, it was in the middle of the summer a year ago, and TJ was different.
You mentioned Farrell and Demetrius playing together with the game Friday and Bolts going live. Who are some other options you want to see play together as you kind of work your way through this?
Yeah, I think, you know, Matt Ryan has given us really good stuff. That's just a weapon off the bench, and he helps stretch the floor for us. The Gebbin, Martin Gebbin, Austin Torres kind of combo. Who is it? Is it him? Is it him? What's it call for? I think they both have practiced like they deserve to be in there, but what does the situation call for? And I've tried to get all them through there, and even an Austin Burgett, because he kind of steadies us. You know, he's on my mind. I mean, he's on my mind. So, you know, those are kind of the combinations that we've kind of worked with here in the last couple days, and you know, it's great because, hey, now it counts. Now it really counts, and. But, you know, I think we're always looking at, you know, how do we help ourselves offensively sometimes, substituting wise, where we get another shooter scorer on the floor that then stretches the floor and spaces the floor. Even though Bonzi continues to make progress spacing it as a four-man. I just think I don't want to lose sight of him playing inside the arc too, because he's so good around the bucket. And, you know, then he becomes the big guy, and we have VJ or Matt Ryan as the stretch four. So we've got to keep looking at that. And then when you do that, it puts a big logjam on your big guys. You know, now your big guys are stacked on top of each other, and how do you get them minutes, and how do you keep those engaged that maybe aren't playing early through the year?
What did you see from half-court basketball session on Friday, and then also your film study as to how you can be better in the half court than what you were?
Yeah, you know, I think we got to reverse the ball more. I thought we played a little too fast. I think this happened so much early in the season with our program, not this particular team, as those first couple times the lights are on and we play too fast. We don't reverse it. So we did some stuff where we couldn't take a shot unless we reversed the ball twice. That is such a good principle for us, reversing the ball. We couldn't take a shot until we got a post touch. And we wanted Zach to kick it out sometimes, just to flatten it, kick it out, and maybe go post on the other side and get it. Those were like two of the things we really, really tried to work on, and I think that continues to be something that we have to spend time with. And then getting the right personnel on the floor for certain parts of the game to be different offensively, or maybe more potent offensively.
Because what you were concerned about the other night, was it because what you were concerned of was the offense didn't look easy?
Yeah, I think I thought we took some quick shots. I thought we could have got a better shot. 30-second clock's not a 20-second clock, you know, is what I tried to tell them. We almost got it up there a little quick, you know, and to understand that when you get into this half-court basketball mode that we do in practice, it's a grind when you have to do it. Now, I've got to have a good balance point of that, because arguably our two best players thrive in transition. So when we can get out and run and get, you know, that's when a Demetrius Jackson gets stuff early and doesn't have to run into bodies. That's when Zach August gets some clean stuff and gets himself going. So, you know, as much as you got to learn to grind, we got to continue to talk about getting stops or getting made field goals in quick, which we've emphasized from day one, to get Demetrius and Zach moving and going, and to not play against a set defense. When you have to play against a set defense like Virginia's or Syracuse's for 40 minutes, it's hard. You got to get some easy ones. And I think we felt between the 30-second clock and the personnel we have, let's get it in and go, and get down that floor so we're not having to grind as much.
What's your Friday night opponent's best quality?
You know, they got really good guards. This is a good matchup for, I think, two of the best defensive guards in the country, and my two guys, Jackson and Vastoria. These are older guys. They're city guys, one from Philly and the other from Baltimore. One from New York and one from Baltimore. Their four-man is a kid who started here as a freshman and banged against Jack Cooley. We were looking at that tape the other day. He's been around a little bit. They're coming off their best season. They win at Rutgers last year. They win at Duquesne. Their program is feeling good about themselves. So, you know, one of my themes today is, like, expect a hard game and embrace a hard game. You know, like this, I think this is going to be hard and good. Let's see how we react in this setting. But the guards are a key. They're good. They're older. They played a lot of college basketball. I think that's a great matchup. Those two guys against our two guys. Thank you, gang. See you Friday.
Thanks.